All right, welcome back to the Mosaic of Broken Dreams. It's a beautiful day in, well, there is no winter here in California. There's oranges everywhere. These mineolas are just, to me as an Easterner, it's a miracle. And even here, there's little miniature roses that come out even here in January. They bloom and the trees are filled with fruit. It's the peak of citrus season. And I have my living, well, these mosaics were made to live outside. So, well, I want to talk about when I'm outside, things are different. You know, when I try to make art or music, I come outside. When I'm inside, I think sometimes it's all about the book. Ideas from the book, math ideas, Bible ideas, you know, and a lot of these ideas I want to talk about today came from my rereading of the Bible as an adult. I didn't want to leave out the adult things, deal with the adult things. And I remembered the stories from Genesis of the brothers. It was always, you better be nice to your brother. You know, look what happened to Jacob and Esau. You know, oh, Esau was, you know, they were twins. Esau and Jacob, almost twins. Esau was a fraction older. Or look what happened later to Joseph. You know, his brothers threw him down a dark hole. You know, it's like, oh, threw him down a dark hole to kill him. You know, it's like, oh, you know, it's like, so there were the family dramas. People couldn't even be nice to their own families. Well, they lived in a world, though, of outside. If you want to understand Genesis, really, you have to be outside in the wind and the fruit trees and animals, really. Those people all had lots of animals. And you know, even this, they would build these little altars of broken things, just kind of like this, the altar of broken things. This isn't Christian. This is from, well, it's about where does kindness come from? You know, should you be nice to your brother? You know, back to Cain and Abel. Sometimes people aren't even nice to their own family. And then, well, what about larger? What about your cousins, your aunts, your uncles? It's like, what if they're not nice to you? What if they're jerks? What if they're violent? What if they're sexual abusers? What if, you know, what if they cheat and lie and steal? Should you still be nice to them? Well, compassion. Yeah, we want to talk about compassion. Where does it come from? So let's step into the secret garden again and think about where in Genesis do you get compassion? Not very much. There's no golden rule in Genesis. God comes down on people in Genesis. Bad things happen in Genesis. You know, it's like, and people are, you know, brutally murdered, or, you know, like I say, or bought and sold into slavery for almost no reason. It's Genesis. And the most amazing people are the people who try to be nice anyway. What about being nice to people who are complete jerks? You know, they're just not nice people. You know? Vengeance belongs to the Lord. Well, no, in Genesis you take your own vengeance. Mostly, you know, I mean, there's really the story of Jacob. You know, it's like he's one of the first people to, well, he extends compassion in a world where his uncle Laban, oh, it just, everything is transactional to Laban. He lies, he cheats, he steals, you know, it's like, and even when you think you've got a deal, he takes the deal off the table and switches it. You know, it's like, I tricked you 7 more years, you know, I tricked you again 7 more years, you know. He's Fagin, he's Shylock, you know, it's like, even the Jews, well, the Jews have a story about the evil Jew. Everybody's got to have a villain. Laban is, but he's Jacob's uncle. And he's the guy who basically sells his daughters. He would have sold them to somebody else, but he finally strikes a deal. And Jacob's from the lineage of Abraham, and he wants to elevate his family. Well, after all, Laban's sister Rebecca is Jacob's mom. In fact, the only time Laban appears in the Bible is to sell women or cut a deal. Everything is like the art of the deal every time. You know, it's like, and he you know, to him, who knows what God thinks, but Jacob, this kid is, well, he's mama's favorite to begin with. You know, that's part of it. You know, it's clear. Isaac prefers Esau. Esau brings home meat. He's a hunter. He brings home meat on the table, and Isaac loves meat. But his wife, Rebecca, she's like, you can tell, she doesn't really respect her husband that much. She obeys him. She's a good wife, but I mean, right away, she cut a deal for money from the start. And she deals with her brother Laban. And it's like, maybe she's not as evil as him, but Rebecca is always just promoting her own children. Her notion of goodness doesn't extend beyond her family. You know, and really, everyone else beware. It's, you know, it's okay to lie and cheat and steal as long as it's not your family, though. I mean, Rebecca has integrity, but, you know, what happens to these brothers? It's just like, well, I started reading this and I realized, whoa, Isaac to begin with is another one. Well, we already heard my song about Noah, PTSD. There are a lot of people in the Bible with PTSD. Isaac's another one. Come on, his own dad almost killed him. He's not waltzing around. He's not in love. He's lucky he got a bride at all. They had to go. Remember, Rebecca agreed to marry him before she even saw him, just for gold. Let's remember what kind of woman she is. She saw her way to climb in the world through her uncle. She took gold and became a good wife to Isaac. But Isaac, he's messed up. He doesn't hunt, but he loves meat. Well, meat calms PTSD. And so, but these two boys, the macho, I think of you know, the mama's boy and the papa's boy. Esau is the papa's boy. You know, he's kind of like the football star, the macho guy. But he also goes out, he's always out, he's at his uncle's whorehouse. Come on. Laban runs a whorehouse. Laban, in the sense of slaves, buying and selling slaves. It's a different world back then. And eventually, Esau's the first one to bring home non-Jewish brides. He brings home Hittite women. And his mother, Rebecca's like, oh no, he brought home Hittite. Blonde. You see, the Hittites were really the first Nordic invaders. He's the first good Jewish boy to bring home blonde girls kind of like blonde girls from the mall. Oh no, he brought home shiksas from the mall and they're blonde. You know, and you can't trust them. You know, and his mom, Rebecca, is just like, but Esau wants to share the bounty with his brother. Okay, come on, Jacob, kind of like, Jacob, let's go hunting, drinking, and chasing women. That's what guys do. They hunt, drink, and chase women. Woo-wee, let's go hunting and drinking and chasing women. And Jacob never wants to. Jacob is a mama's boy. They call him in the Bible a man of the tents. He cooks. He weaves. He sews. He's artistic. He doesn't even like working with animals. He's not a cowboy. His brother's the cowboy every time. His brother's the macho cowboy, the warrior, and Jacob is just like, they say in the Bible at times, he smells like angels. The women adore him though. Women just go nuts for Jacob, and yet he doesn't even marry till his mama is dead. He can't, there's no woman ever going to be good enough for Rachel to accept for her boy, my Jacob. He stays with me through thick and thin. You know, and let's remember, these are pastoral people. They don't trust anybody that's got horses. If you've got horses or even agriculture, these are people that move with the herds, oral tradition people, you know, like pre-literate people. These are their old stories. And man, it seems to me it's pretty clear. Jacob is, you know, he's the gay. He's homosexual. He's mama's boy, and all the women love him. He's safe. He's homosexual. He never, well, let's look at the evidence. Besides his mother adores him and thinks he's like a saint, and he smells like angels all the time. He's clearly a virgin. I'm not saying he's had gay sex, but I think clearly he never wants to go chasing women or hunting or any of the macho stuff. His brother's always kind of like, look, here, I brought home women, let's go, brother. And his brother's like, ew, that's creepy, ew. It's like, I just want to stay home and sew and cook and be with mom. Well, this is a way, see, the point is, back in this society, that's a way for him to be gay and live a virgin life. Because there's no such thing as open homosexuality. And look at the other evidence. Later, Jacob ends up with 2 wives and handmaidens. Both of the wives bring handmaidens. He's got to have sex with 4 different women. Does he like it? Does he think that's cool? No, he hates it. He just does this. And as soon as he can, he lets his own older son have sex with the handmaids. Here, you do it. Simon and Reuben and all these. It's like there's later scandals, but Jacob's not trying to protect his harem of women. He's always trying to I think of him as he's this saintly gay guy that all these abused women trust. These are women who have been bought and sold even by their own parents. Laban is clearly a child abuser. Probably had sex with his own daughters, and now Jacob comes along and marries them just to take them out of control of their evil father. And that's what I stepped in. I started hearing the voices of these guys as an opera. A kind of hillbilly opera. And of course, everyone in the old days is worried about incest. It's like this is all kinds of degrees of incest. Everybody's marrying their cousins, and it's a cautionary tale. And Jacob sets an example. Really, I think he just wants to be a virgin and be left alone. Like maybe he's obsessive and just like, oh, don't touch me. But the women go nuts for that. And he's kind and sensitive and understands their world. And I imagine, and he's musical. He sings. Even Leah, they talk about, I imagine Leah, man, like I put in my song, Leah plays guitar for her father. Her father's kind of, it's Laban. Laban's like, come on, girls, play me a song. I got indigestion. It even says in there, he's like, play me a song that settle my stomach. And Leah and Rachel have to come out. You can imagine, beautiful daughters. Let's sing Dad's favorite silly, stupid song. And they just, and I eventually saw that, look at what's happening here. Jacob is going to be cheated again and again, but he's trying to extend this notion of kindness, and what he's really trying to do is rescue these women. And that's why, come on, he didn't get cheated. He knew he was getting cheated. You can't tell me that after he spent 7 years herding animals with Rachel, that he didn't know the smell of that woman compared to her sister. All those tricks in the Bible, it's like, I put them all into the great ballad, the love ballad. This is a love triangle, the way I see it too. Rachel is a macho woman. She takes care of the animals. She's the cowgirl in the family. Rachel herds all the animals. Jacob stays home and sews and cooks and weaves beautiful things that are so beautiful his kids fight over them. And Leah is always, she's so madly in love with Jacob, but all Jacob sees is Rachel. Jacob loves, and I think the other part of the triangle not noticed is Rachel loves her sister Leah. Rachel's not going to marry Jacob and ditch her sister. Part of the switcheroony on the wedding night is he's going to be conned, but he's going to have to take them both. And as many women as they can take with them. That's why the handmaidens, they're going to take as many women out of Laban's whorehouse. Take them out of bondage and slavery and whoredom and put them, of course they want to be with Jacob. He's running the shelter, shelter for whatever, battered, abused women. And, and that's why, and he founds the tribes and he extends the notion of kindness nowhere near the Golden Rule. The Golden Rule won't hit the Jews for a long time. But this is at least an early, piece of kindness beyond almost anything you can see. And let's remember, in some of these old rabbi versions, Jacob is like 50, 60, 70. He's a mature man, even 80, when he meets Rachel, who's 10. He meets her at 10. 7 years later, he marries her. Okay, she's 17 now. Okay, cool. But he falls in love with her when she's 10. This is the platonic virgin. This is an old man, a really old virgin man. His mom is dead. He's grieving over his dead. He's a gay guy crying over his dead mom. And he meets this girl singing at the spring, sings this beautiful song. That's how I hear this song, you know. It's like, and she's singing one of those old country waltzes, you know. And it all starts, and this is Jacob's truly being in love, you know, not a sexual love, although they have children. And the sisters fight and all, but this is a love triangle that endures. And again, 7 years later, the old man marries Rachel. Well, he gets tricked and marries Leah. But let's remember, a week later, he gets to marry the other one. So he marries one, a week later marries the other one, then he's enslaved for 7 more years to this criminal enterprise. Just like some mafia don, he has to work off the bride, he has to work off the women. He has to pay for the freedom of these poor women by working with this slave master. And that's where, and I was out here one day, I used to play this stupid old banjo, not as well as John, and I'd ring these bells and I'd try to find that, and I'd think of, oh, just stupid deals, and Jacob, and so true. Jacob's looking for love in a world where love, you know, romantic love doesn't even exist. 'Cause I'm lucky, paying double for love so true. Had to marry him, duh. Yeah, I'm lucky, paying double for love so true. Yeah, I got one love for the price of two. I had to marry your sister just to get through to you. I'm still working for your daddy the whole day through, but I'm lucky, paying double for a love so true. That's how the song first came to me out here. We'll hear it. John's darling wife once recorded it, so we're going to take a little trip to storybook land. Mikey's going to sit like a kid on the shoulder and look through the pictures of Genesis from our favorite version, the illustrated R-Crumb version of Genesis, and show us we're going to take a little trip back to when John played guitar on the song, Bob Starr played some mandolin, and John's wife Sally sings the part of Rachel. And I try to be an 80-year-old man falling in love with a 10-year-old girl and make it beautiful. It's kind of pervy. Everything in Genesis is like, it's pervy, it's creepy, it's incest, it's like, yeah, it's like, but people of kindness find ways to make their life work, to find moments of peace, just to find a little bit of moment of peace in a world where, well, slavery is just something that happens. So, thank you, John. Welcome back inside, back to the modern world, back to our continuing theme of what do these old things mean for us now? Why do we still like these old things? What does Genesis mean to us now? It's like a country waltz from long ago, like a minstrel show. It's an old minstrel show. That's how I see Genesis, a country waltz and a minstrel show song. John, tell us about it.
Traveling Mr. Show. I would love to the Southland and a traveling Mr. Show. Well, I'm dying to be a star and make things days. The man gave me the news. He said, "You must be joking, son. Where did you get those shoes? Where did you get those shoes?" They say the time of changing, just don't know. I see them on the TV, the movie show. Those days are gone forever.
So long from the Mosaic of Broken Dreams. Stepping inside your Trinity room to take a journey back to the past. At least we hope so.